Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show. We certainly want to welcome you to today's program. You know, friends, the number on this week's program is number 345. And I tell you, that's an unbelievable number of programs. In fact, counting our other things that we do, we're over 500 different presentations from this project. And we want everyone to know how much we appreciate all of you being there with us, because this is one of those shows, friends, one of those efforts that is, in addition to our sponsors, as you well know, is viewer supported. You know, we're here today because you, the viewers of the Shooting Show Project, want us here. You want us here giving out the information that we do every week and have done for so long. It has not been easy. Those of you know that. It has certainly not been easy, but doggone it, we're still here. And we're here always looking for answers, looking at ways to expand our outreach to more Americans. Because, friends, let me tell you what. I was talking to a friend this week, someone that a lot of you may know. And before I get off on that, this is one of Bill Jordan's revolvers, the great firearms exhibitionist, the great Border Patrol officer, and one of the finest Americans that I ever had the pleasure to meet. Bill Jordan was certainly a friend to me and a friend to our project, and over the years we had him on our program several times. You know, he was at our first Fun Gun weekend last year, and unfortunately this past year, not the one we just had, but a year ago in May, and we lost him this past fall, not quite a year ago, somewhere along that time frame there. And this is one of his guns. A good friend who happens to possess this gun loaned it to me today for the program, and we're going to get to do something that very, very few people ever did a little bit later on today's program. We're going to do a feature on this Smith & Wesson 44 Special Triple Lock, and yes, these are mother of pearl grips, and General Patton notwithstanding, let me tell you what, there was nothing shaky about Bill Jordan. And yes, this gun has genuine mother of pearl grips on it and shows quite a bit of wear. So, and I'm sure the wear that came from this gun, it's been in the collection ever since Bill sold it. So it does show signs of wear. So I'm sure that he used this gun quite a bit in years past. Anyway, we're so pleased about that. This is a piece of history that not a lot of people have ever seen. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But anyway, I was talking to Neil Knox this week, who's certainly been a person of great stature on the firearms rights scene. Neil just completed a great effort trying to adjust the direction of the NRA. He was not successful in overcoming the opposition to his candidate or candidacy with the NRA, but that's okay. Neil is one of the most intelligent firearms spokespeople in the United States. And just because the NRA has not seen fit to take advantage of Neil's great expertise doesn't mean the rest of us won't. And we have a taped piece today on the program featuring Neil Knox. We had run this several years ago, and it talks about how the media and the politicians have lied to us about some of the so-called assault weapons, which they're really not, but that's certainly that we possess, we as regular citizens, but how they have lied to us. And he's going to show some of the effectiveness of common hunting guns in comparison to the fabled 9mm, and the AK-47 round, the 7.62 by 39. He's going to show that, and we're very pleased that Neil's going to be on our program this week, because he is a very fine and intelligent person, someone who has dedicated a large part of his life to improving our lot as shooters. So we certainly thank Neil for being with us today. Something else I want to remind you, on next week's program, the uplink we're going to stay on the same satellite, but we're going to be on a different transponder. Please take note of this now. Please take note. Next week, you're watching this program on transponder 6, those of you that watch by satellite, and there are vast numbers that do. They're moving us to transponder 20. On next week's program, again, they're moving us to transponder 20 for both our programs, for our gospel show and for the shooting show. And they're telling us this will be a permanent change. So please make note of that. Next weekend now, please, and we're going to be saying this during the program today several times, the shooting show will be on Telstar 4, same bird, same satellite, but we're going to be on a different transponder. They're moving us from transponder 6, where you're watching tonight, to transponder 20. So please make a note of that. And you cable engineers out there that are taping this program for future broadcasts, please, please, if you would, make note of this. We're moving to transponder 20. So anyway, back to some things we need to talk about. I'm really excited. I haven't shot Bill's gun yet, but I really look forward to it. The triple lock is a different arrangement. We'll be looking at that just a little bit later. I want to thank our good friend, Bruce Warren with BC Armory has been in our support group for a while. And Bruce took up some donations for our project out at the Iowa Penn Nationals held recently in Waterloo, Iowa. And he wanted to thank several people. Of course, we want to thank our good friend Bruce for going to the trouble to do this, to try and help the project. But he wanted to thank people that helped. A lady named Melda Cook was a great assistance to him out there. Also, Steve Dixon, the match director and founder, in fact, of the International Pin Shooters Association, bowling pin matches. Also, the folks there at, we really appreciate the participation of the folks there at the match. And also, we want to say a word about Mark Brown of Uniontown, Pennsylvania. He won a Tasco PDP-5, and he is the pin match. Let's see, he was the match director of a video we had on the program a while back, so we really do appreciate. They raised $238 for us out there at the Iowa Penn Nationals, and friends, let me tell you what, those are large dollars to us. We really do appreciate it. Also, some other folks that Bruce wanted to mention and thank were the Thibodeaus from here in Louisiana. We really appreciate their efforts in helping Bruce there. So friends, you see, that's what it's about, is we're working together. Now, I have a proposition. I have a thought. You know, we have looked high and low and east and west, wherever we could, for ways to make a bigger impact with what we do with the shooting show, to find ways to help the shooting show stay on the air, to find ways to help further our impact as shooters here in America, in American daily life. And friends, let me tell you what, the battle for our guns, regardless of what they may be, our firearms, whether you're a trap shooter or a silhouette shooter or a pin shooter, or maybe you just like to go out and plink, it doesn't matter. And especially those of us that have guns for self-defense. Think about that. This battle is not going to be won on Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill is important, but this battle is going to be won in the hearts and minds of local people all over the United States. That's where it's going to be won. And this is where we're really weak as far as the organizations go. The NRA-C, National Rifle Association, compromisers, they want to work just in Washington with their power all consolidated in Washington. Okay, we understand how that works and how it doesn't work. But I'm thinking that there may be room for another shooting organization. There are several out there. Our friend Larry Pratt with Gun Owners of America, they have a fax line there in Washington. They go and talk to these congressmen, these senators. And Larry does a good job for what he does. We certainly have supported Gun Owners of America in past years, and still do for that matter, as far as what they do. The Alan Gottlieb's outfit, the Second Amendment Foundation, they do some other things. They're active in lawsuits and different things. They hold conferences. And that's well and good. That's fine. But you know what, friends? The battle to keep our guns is going to be won or lost. Right now we're losing. Out here in America, in small town and small community America. Recently, I was listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk program this past Sunday. His show comes on a local affiliate in our area after our Thinking Right program does. and someone called up and said, we need a gun TV program. They weren't aware of our show because due to cable companies or TV stations, they don't have to carry our program. A lot of places in the country they don't. You can get our show anywhere in the United States by satellite. But this particular caller was not aware that there was a gun TV show. Well, I find it interesting that we'd had Tom on our program a couple of years ago, but he seemed to go into brain fade. He didn't seem to remember that the shooting show's been on now for 8 years nationally, most of the time weekly, nationwide for 8 years. And some of these other organizational people, friends, I don't know why they have trouble remembering. And I think Tom had some calls to remind him that yes, in fact, the shooting show was still on, and no hard feelings there. It's just some of these folks, I don't think, understand the value of TV and the value of reaching into homes everywhere. You know, that's been our aim from the very beginning. And we gladly and happily have worked with every organization that we possibly could. Even in past years, heck, I have helped raise serious amounts of money in past years for the NRA before they were the NRAC. And friends, I think there may be a real case here, and I need your input. I'd like to hear your opinions. I think there is a real need for another shooting organization, nationally based, with its power not concentrated in Washington or some other place, but with people doing work all over the United States at the grassroots level. Because, friends, this is it. Listen, if we don't, you can count on it. It won't be very long in the future. We won't have guns at all in this country. Now, you know what our leadership is. You know what the Clintonians have tried to do. You know what the attitude is. If you've been watching this program very long at all, you know what the attitude that the Justice Department has about guns right now. We have a news quote where Janet Reno is trying to enlist the aid of law students and lawyers to file more lawsuits against gun companies and file more lawsuits against ammunition companies. They're saying this is a way to end the gun culture. Well, let me tell you what, friends, our gun culture is directly tied to the freedom culture. And the American freedom culture is directly tied to these firearms. If it had not been for firearms in the hands of the individual, not the National Guard, we wouldn't have a United States of America. We would still be British subjects if it were not for guns in the hands of the regular citizen. These New World Order people, they know that. The people in Washington, D.C. who want to disarm us, they know that. Why are we having such a hard time explaining this to some of the people in the firearms industry and some of the people in these large organizations? Well, you know what, friends? I'm afraid to some of these folks, those in the inner circle there, Wayne, and those folks in Washington, D.C. with NRAC, I don't think we can explain it to them. So we're going to have to do something, apparently, around them, sometimes in spite of them. We're going to have to form our own National Shooting Association. And we think, friends, I've talked to a few folks this week about it, and everybody is all excited because they say, yes, we can do it. You know what? For those who think that we can't, look what one man, Senator Bob Smith, did in the Senate a few weeks ago. He got passed an amendment to a bill with a veto-proof majority in the Senate, which is not terribly friendly to gun owners anyway, that would stop the FBI from retaining our firearms records coming this fall. It would stop the charge, and it's got to pass in the House, but one man got it through in the Senate, a place where it would seem it would be hardest of all in government to get things done. One man got it done. Okay, did you hear anywhere else on television about Executive Order 13083? You heard about it on the American Freedom Network. You heard about it on our program and other shows on the American Freedom Network on radio. And you heard about it on our gospel show. You heard about it here on our shooting show. Did you hear of it anywhere else on TV? Guess what, friends? Enough of you out there cared, along with some other people around the country. You didn't hear it anywhere else on TV. I finally heard Rush Limbaugh make reference to it yesterday. I finally gave the wrong number, but he had the right bill. We got it stopped. The White House took it back. Now, who knows what they're going to come back with in 90 days? Who knows? But you see, we did not take, we're just individuals, we're just a small outfit. We didn't take it for granted we couldn't do something. We have a national television project here, friends. It's just a few of us. Our budget is so small, we're not even at shoestring level. But you know what? We're the #1 gun TV show in the world. And I'm including you folks out there watching, because you know what? You are the reason we've been able to do it. All of us working together, even us as viewers. We have hundreds of thousands of people that watch this program. And just a few contribute out of those hundreds of thousands. But you know what? It's been enough so far to make the difference, to keep us on the air and keep this message about guns and responsible firearms ownership and freedom going out every week. Friends, we can do it. If you want to help, our ideal here of establishing another National Firearms Association, National Shooting Association here in the United States, and this is the last bastion of freedom where in the past the regular citizen has been trusted to own firearms. This is the last place, friend. If we go, the other places there are guns around the world will be gone in a very short order. Suddenly coming this fall, we're going to have to prove our innocence. We're being IRS'd. We're going to have to prove our innocence to own firearms. Like in the past, you've had to prove your innocence. The IRS, you were guilty until proven innocent. For the first time in American history, you and I are going to have to prove we're innocent before we can buy a gun. Now, I think that's outrageous. Do you think it's outrageous? I think so. And we can do something about it, friends. We can establish another organization. Doesn't have to be that big, but let me tell you what. Hey, we established an organization. We have a television program that reaches all over the United States. Someone in every city in America watches this show. We got a TV show. The NRAC, they don't have a TV show. The other gun organizations, they don't have a TV show. They may help sponsor some stuff, hunting shows. And let me tell you what, we've talked about the environmental wackos were coming after the hunters. Yes, they have. Now they're even coming after fishermen. This is true, friends. It's so funny. I mean, it's so outrageous. These people are so goofy. But they're coming after fishermen now. And anybody who does something outdoors that is not restrained by government, isn't that amazing? Friends, it's got to be stopped. These people cannot be reasoned with. You think you can reason with Bill Clinton? You think you can reason with Janet Reno? Ask those people in Waco, Texas, how reasonable Janet Reno was, if you can ask them from the grave. You think you can reason with Al Gore? You think you can reason with Chucky Schumer? No, you can't. There's only one way they can be dealt with, and that's to be defeated. Something else I heard Tom Gresham the other day was talking about. He was really doubting the strength of a television project. Said, well, 80% of the people in the United States live in cities of 1 million people or more. Wait a minute, friends. Even if that's correct, listen, that means 20% are left in the small towns and rural areas. You know what it takes to make a national change? I've said this a dozen times, if I've said it once. It takes 5% of the general population, 5%, that's dedicated to do about anything they want to do. Do you realize that we have candidates all over America, the rural candidates that grew up, a lot of them with guns in the home, grew up hunting? That's 20% right there. And let me tell you what else. Everybody who lives in the cities is not crazy. Everybody who lives in the cities are not anti-gun. We have vast numbers of people that live in the cities in this country that are pro-gun and pro-freedom. Just because they live in town, don't write them off. We only need 5% that's dedicated. I can prove that to anyone. You can go back and back and back in history over and over and over. You can prove it. If you had 5% of the general population that was dedicated, you could do about anything you wanted to do. We've got to get 5% of the American population motivated. We have to get them educated to find out how government works, to find out how we should properly have firearms, handle firearms, be responsible for firearms, and learn to shoot. We can educate them, friends. We can do it. Hey, we got a TV show. You know what? we have a TV show. We can get in areas on public access, have to cut some of our commercials. Hey, we can do it, friends. If you want to help, keep us on the air, the Shooting Show, please send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Urban Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. That zip code is 71024. Our phone number, area 318-377-5189. Friends, if we lose this battle for our firearms freedom, the war for our freedom is lost. Because after we lose our firearms, all the other amendments to the Constitution don't count. Bill Clinton's already tried to nullify the 10th Amendment. He might try to nullify the amendment that keeps presidents from running for more than 2 terms. Who knows? If we lose the Second Amendment, friends, it's over with. I don't plan to lose. I don't think you do either. Please, please, if you'll help, if you can send whatever you can to help us stay on the air and help us get started on this National Shooting Association, not National NRAC, forget that. And we get this thing underway, we will welcome members of other shooting organizations. Heck, you don't have to quit. You can stay on with them if you want. That's fine, no problem. But it will be another voice with a much further reaching effect than writing letters and getting all these requests for money in the mail and plates with somebody's picture on it with a gun for $34.95. What are they going to try next? I don't know. But friends, we're here doing something. Will you join us? Will you please join us? We've got a little demonstration here I want to do. I think we'll kind of illustrate our point. I certainly hope so. We have a great show for you today. And please remember, next Sunday night, first time the program airs on satellite, we're moving to transponder 20 for both our programs. So please, well, let's get underway. I think there's something here that you'll find interesting. You know, friends, we might equate some of the large organizations, one in particular, as being great, big caliber, big hole in the barrel, big 50 caliber gun, a lot of hidebound history, a lot of great things done in the past, you know, and we may talk about, say, yeah, we're going to load this thing up here, and oh yeah, we're going to go to all this trouble and be sure it's, yeah boy, look what we're going to do now, send us your money. Look what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to really, this is great. We've been around for many, many years. Send us your money. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to really fight the battle. We're going to really hit our target. We're going to really stir it up. Yeah, boy, look at here. Watch here. Got our big target out there. Yeah, just watch what we're going to do to the anti-gun people. Yeah, watch this. Woo. Look at that smoke. Hear that noise. Look at that smoke. Whoa. And the target's still there. Whoa. Well, what happened? They took all that money, had all that size, made all that noise, but they hadn't done a doggone thing. Okay. Now then, let's take the lowly 22 1921 Winchester actual single shot, the lowly 22 long rifle. But this gun is going to be well aimed, and it's going to be sincere, and it's going to be run by people that actually shoot guns, people that haven't heard about guns, people that actually shoot guns, who understand what this is about. The lowly 22, one little bitty bullet, just one shot. Watch. Now look at there. It's because it was properly aimed. And you know what, friends? If enough of us, just regular citizens, I'm not talking lobbyists, I'm not talking big organizations, if enough of us as just regular citizens get together, look what we can become. We can become the jungle gun. You know, friends, these shotgun shells are made up of a lot of small pellets, but they're working together, such as the jungle gun. That's what we can do working together. We can do it, friends. We can be an effective gun organization. It's got to be done. We can do it.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here it is, the great Georgia Arms ammunition. Notice these ballistic tip nodular bullets in this Georgia Arms ammunition. You see, this is equivalent to a box of 20 for only $7.95. Now, friends, that is a terrific price for essentially custom-loaded ammunition. Of course, for the plain full metal jacket, it is much less expensive. Here's another tremendous bag of Georgia Arms ammunition, 7mm Remington Magnum, 20 rounds, only $17.95, loaded with these premium Nosler ballistic tips. I tell you, this is custom ammunition at a discount price. Friends, here it is. This is the great Georgia Arms 45 DA Colt or double action Colt cartridge. This is the first major improvement on the Colt 45 since 1873. They have this in loaded cowboy ammunition. They're also selling brass, so you can load your own combinations. This cartridge case is absolutely a joy to work with. We're even seeing improved accuracy, we think due to the slightly larger rim on our 45 DA Colt case. You can get a free catalog, or you can order these from Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861 for their entire lineup, and please tell them you saw it here on our show. My friends, of course, the cowboy load is mild but super accurate. And of course, you can take your hand loads up to the limit of what the loading manuals will allow. The great 45 double action Colt cartridge from Georgia Arms. Give them a call today, friends. A free phone call with a free catalog. And now, friends, let's join Neil Knox for some information I think is just a terrific piece of tape on the AK-47 and how the media and some of our politicians have absolutely just lied to us about the so-called assault type guns. Let's do that now.
I've got the longest magazine that they normally make for this gun, a 30-round magazine, just to show you how ugly it makes the gun. It's a military gun. It's not made for pretty. But the cartridge it shoots, which the Louisville Courier said the other day would blow a deer to smithereens, this is the little cartridge we're talking about. Now, that's no plaything. This is a powerful cartridge, but we're talking relative here. And let's see what this one will do, and then we'll show you what these other guns will do. Now we'll take a look at see what the 7.62 will do in the on a watermelon. No question, that's pretty nasty. I certainly wouldn't want to be hit with it, but let's take a look and see what some of these other guns will do. We haven't tried this before, but we want to see what this will do. This is the Model 100 in .243 Winchester. It's the kind of load that I shot my first deer with. You see what I meant? There is no comparison to the relative power of this cartridge, the Model 100 in .243 Winchester, and the AK-47 in standard 7.6239 military full patch jacketed ammunition. Here's a gun that almost everyone has seen or at least heard about or read about. This is a Model 1894 Winchester 30-30. It's a cartridge that is about 20% more powerful than the AK-47 round 7.6239. Again, here's a deer cartridge, the most popular one in the country. We'll see what it does. Now, part of the difference is the bullet. These are hunting bullets, soft point hunting bullets, as opposed to full patch military style. But military style bullets were what were used by Patrick Purdy and used by Joseph Westbecker in Louisville. We heard how terribly powerful the gun was. You just saw that this most popular deer cartridge in the country is far more deadly. By today's standards, the Model 94 Winchester is about the low end of the big game rifle power scale. It's about 20% more than that 7.6239. But you're right, it doesn't have a big long extension magazine. What it has is this little narrow tube, and it carries its extra ammunition here. Bear in mind, this is a 95-year-old style. This particular gun's not quite that old. I'll show you what it will do, although I'm not an expert with the lever action like old Chuck Connors is. Folks, that's a mighty potent weapon. The key is not the gun. The key is what the person who has that gun wants to do with that gun. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most common of all the big game rifles in the country. It's not quite as popular as Deere's, the 30-30, but this is the 30-06, the model of 1906. Now, this is the AK-47 round. This is a round for the 30-06. You can tell I didn't palm that. This is the same cartridge I had. You can tell the difference in what this does. Take a look at the watermelon. Does anyone really believe that the AK-47 7.6239 is more powerful than a common hunting round? You've heard about this MAC-10. It's a nasty looking gun. It's caliber 9mm Luger, which has been around since about 1904. This gun, because of the extension magazine on it, will shoot 30 rounds without reloading. Ugly gun, but it shoots exactly the same cartridge that this gun does. Real pretty, Browning high power, been around since 1935. It shoots the same 9mm cartridge, has exactly the same power. Now, I can show you, well, I'll shoot the MAC-10. It's harder to control by far than this gun is, but I'll show you what it does on the watermelons. They talk about how many shots you can get off with that MAC-10, 30 shots. I showed you this little Browning. The Browning is 14 shots. You drop a magazine out and you shove another magazine into it, and you've got another round going. you've got the rest of those 30 shots. This is a 12-gauge Browning Automatic 5. It's a semi-automatic 5-shot, just like the name implies. This shotgun shell here is a number 4. It's duck load, very commonly used in hunting. Let's see what it does on the watermelon. We didn't fake that. There was no grenade inside that watermelon. The Russians in 1947 or thereabouts designed the 7.62-39 to wound a 170-pound man. This cartridge, the 30-06 or the 300 Weatherby, is designed to kill a deer or a moose that weighs 300 or 1,000 pounds. That is the difference in power. The real power is in the guns that we use for hunting. Am I saying that American citizens shouldn't have hunting guns? Of course not. But what I'm saying is that you have been lied to about the power of these guns. We've seen today what the true effect is of the different cartridges on a similar target. Think about it when they tell you on the tube how terrible this 7.62-39 is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now you've seen it. Let's have an instant replay of a few of the things that we've just taken a look at. First, we have the MAC 1011 firing a standard 9mm bullet. Next, we have the AK-47S using a standard military round, a 7.62-39. And finally, we have a 12-gauge skeet shotgun. Let's see that again.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Tell you what, friends, when you can take one of these great Kimber 45 semi-automatic pistols and you can make hits without too much difficulty on steel targets out at 100 yards, with one of these great Kimber, this is our shooting show model, full size, the Johnny Rowlands signature model. When you can make those hits out there with a mirror at 100 yards, and when you can make consistent hits on targets out at 200 yards, well, just imagine how easy it would be at 25 yards. Or at defense range. If you'd like to have one of our shooting show Kimbers, be it compact or the full-size model, or if you just want the best 1911 that money can buy at a very good price, the best factory production 1911 semi-automatic pistol ever built by any factory, give us a call here at the program. 318-377-5189, or you can write to us, send an FFL, we can wholesale these guns. Send an FFL to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Doberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now friends, you're getting to do something that very few people ever got to do, and that is safely look down the barrel of Bill Jordan's gun. Let's see this old warhorse in action here. Six shots from this great 44 Special. My goodness. Well, wait a minute, friends. I'll tell you what. The Smith & Wesson large frame 44 Specials had a apparently well-deserved reputation for accuracy. Well, let's take another look at Bill Jordan's triple lock 44 Smith & Wesson Special. Well, trust me on this one, friends. This is a great pleasure for me to shoot a gun that belonged to one of my heroes. You know, Bill Jordan was such a well-known gun writer, and we don't have many heroic figures. And when I was coming along, and certainly was so interested in firearms, I looked so forward to reading Bill Jordan's columns and getting his comments. And of course, he's one of the fastest people on the draw that's ever lived. He could, we have documented pictures of Bill Jordan drawing from a holster, a duty holster in Border Patrol uniform, drawing, hitting a target in 27/100ths of a second. Now wait a minute, friends. And that was him getting a go signal, drawing and hitting a target. The actual movement, he was so fast with his hands, you really couldn't tell what he did because he was so fast. It was like, boom, what? No kidding, that's what it was. I'm gonna look for some of our tapes that had Bill Jordan on there. I know you'll enjoy seeing that. But this is the Smith & Wesson triple lock, and I say triple lock because it actually had 3 lockup points we'll look at just a little bit closer. But this is the gun that the 44 Magnum came from. It's a large frame, 44 caliber, double action revolver. This one has a 6.5-inch barrel. And as we could see from a moment ago, our target, 6-in-1 hole, even at a few yards out there, that still goes to show the old gun will certainly shoot. I doubt, it's been in a collection for a number of years, and I doubt, heck, the gun may not have been fired since he last shot it. I don't know. I mean, it may have been, but it shows a good bit of the bluing is gone. It shows to have had a lot of holster service, a lot of holster wear. It's been carried. And if this gun, if you had a video camera attached to the handle of this gun, I imagine it would be pretty amazing some of the escapades that Bill, through his service to the country in the military and in Border Patrol, because for all I know, he might have had this gun back in the 30s or 40s. I don't know, but certainly it is a very low serial numbered triple lock. So this gun goes back to not too long after the turn of the century. Not too long. I'd have to look on some dates of manufacture to know for sure, but I tell you, it is still a piece of work. The reason that Elmer Keith chose the 44 caliber Smith & Wesson, or the 44 caliber over the 45 Colt, simply was there was enough metal around each hole in the cylinder to safely contain the pressures. Now Elmer blew up some 45 Colts, and there just wasn't enough metal in the old Colt cylinder. But they found out even the Colt, when chambered in 44 Special, had enough metal in the cylinder to contain Elmer's hot hand loads. That's why there was a 44 Magnum versus a 45 Magnum, because the only gun that Elmer could find that was big enough that wouldn't blow up was the 44. So that's essentially why there was a 44 Magnum. So these guns have great history. They're very strong. In fact, you can see how easy they are to shoot, even with, this would not be my preferred grip, of course, but that 44 Special cartridge, believe me, even in factory ammo, it's a great big bullet. 246 or so, 250 grain bullet moving along, even at a leisurely pace, it's going to have a lot of thump when it hits something. Let's take a closer look. Now friends, you can see Smith & Wesson has really had some superior workmanship at times during their manufacturing history. This whole gun is no exception. See that pin barrel? Well, they used to pin the barrels in place. Now the new systems, in fact, we're seeing some very high quality new Smith & Wessons. Tell you what though, there was a period back there in the 60s and 70s that their workmanship was spotty at best. Let's just say some were assembled rather casually. Let's just say that. But if you get a good one, of course, you've got a good gun. But the new ones we're seeing and the old ones were really, really super. See that mother of pearl? I guess that must be some kind of shell. Anyway, so much for that. We're talking triple lock here. We're used to seeing a lock here in the rear of the cylinder that will lock here into the frame. We're used to seeing a lock here that will lock up in the underlug there on the barrel, but what we're not used to seeing is a lock right here. And actually, now watch, when you push the ejector spring-loaded centerpiece there forward, look, has a piece here. It also, it depresses this little spring-loaded plunger here. So actually, for strength, and I don't know why they thought they needed it, but because the 44 Special was very mild, but it was certainly a great system of strength, one that could be used today on maybe something like a double action version of the Kazoo. Anyway, moving along, it gave you 3 distinct lockup points, here, here, and here. And of course, as we can see, these guns were super accurate. And this gun is a representative example of so many of the great guns by Smith & Wesson. Another difference we'll see, of course, here's a modern gun here with, they changed the hammer. And you'll notice this one has a screw up here on the top. This one doesn't on the side plate. But even today, there are a lot of similarities between this modern gun and this older Smith & Wesson. I tell you what, friends, this great Smith & Wesson triple lock is an example of America's gun making at its very finest. And of course, this gun's missing some of the blue. It's going to take some extra care. But as a collectible, you would actually detract from its value by re-bluing it. So it's a simple thing. You can take some fluid film, something like that, and just take care of it. Just wipe it down. Bare metal won't rust as long as it's covered with lubrication. So if you have an old gun at home like this, would I recommend shooting some hot Elmer Keith commemorative hand loads through it? Absolutely not, because these guns are, they're old. And you don't know sometimes what care they may have had. Heck, some of these old guns may have been shot with black powder in them, and of course, which is highly corrosive, and if they weren't properly cleaned, well, you may have weakened metal. But if you get one and take it to a gunsmith, one of these old timers like this, and he gives you a clean bill of health for your gun with standard 44 Special type ammunition, heck yeah, let's shoot them. That's what they were for, and I have really enjoyed handling a gun that one of my heroes had and shot for many years. The great Bill Jordan, and it's just a great pleasure that I can have one of his guns on the program today and I can actually shoot it. So hope all of you have enjoyed this as much as I have.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Now friends, here it is. This is the great 1919 Browning converted to semi-automatic from the good people at NWI. This is your chance to own a real piece of history. They're very collectible. They're also a lot of fun to own and shoot, and very reasonably priced, certainly for what you get. The 1919 Browning is from NWI. That phone number, area 503-429-5001. They also have the ammunition special still going on. 30-06 ammunition, only 18 cents a round, surplus in the belt. So give them a call today, NWI, for the great 1919 Browning conversion. Also remember, they have the A6 conversion with the shoulder stock and the bipod. But these are tremendous pieces of history, also great shooters. So give them a call today, the 1919 Browning from NWI, area 503-429-5001.
And we want to remind you, friends, Tim also has a few of the 50 caliber conversions from machine gun to semi-automatic rifle. Anywhere you can own a semi-automatic, you can own one of these great Browning conversions. No one knows how long these guns will be available. Here's your chance to own a great piece of history in 30-06 chamber or in 50 Browning chamber. Give them a call today, and please tell them you saw it here on our show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're enjoying our program today. You'll recognize this fine gentleman sitting next to me here, none other than Leroy Scott, the good judge. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, but I'm kind of rushed.
Well, just a little bit. Yes, we are. We're very short on time today, Judge. I appreciate you coming down. We also want to thank Gun Owners of America for that tape piece that we had with Neil Knox earlier. And, Judge, we hold, I know you hold Neil in very high regard yourself, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Well, unfortunately, he was not able to overcome the powers that be in the NRA, and I call them NRA-C, the compromisers, but I certainly think there's hope. And we talked about earlier on the show today, and you and I have talked about this privately this week, about the possibility of doing or having another shooting association nationally to get some of these grassroots efforts involved. Because, Judge, I'm saying that the battle is going to be won or lost in the local areas. Don't you agree?
Well, it's going to be won or lost with the grassroots, with a grassroots effort, but it's going to be won or lost on the national level, Johnny.
Well, I certainly agree, Judge, and I'm saying that 100 letters from constituents, people out in the hinterlands here, is going to be worth more than 100 phone calls from a lobbyist in Washington, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And friends, that's where we can be successful. If you would like to help in this effort to certainly keep our shooting show on the air, to expand our efforts, will you please, if you agree with us, friends, it's got to be done. We lose our guns, Judge, it's over with, isn't it?
Well, lots of us should think so.
Well, and if you're watching this program today, I'm sure you think so too. Friends, if you can help us, please send whatever you can to the shooting show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. That zip code is 71024. Our phone number, 318-377-5189. That's how we're here today, is with your contributions, and we are excited. We're talking, we're going to have Senator Smith on, and he's going to be on in the next few weeks. He has given us an invitation to come down to he's going to be here in Louisiana, and I think that's going to be great, don't you, Judge?
Yeah, it sure is, Johnny. I got a bunch of postcards and so forth from NRA today, and I sent them in to the various senators and representatives and so forth, all supporting the Smith Amendment. Mm-hmm. And I want to know when the NRA got on board for that, because they opposed it in the first place.
So now they're supporting it. Well, okay, like we said, friends, we think there's an absolute need for one more shooting association, one more that can work with the shooting show, because we are Gun TV. If you can help us, please do. How close are we on time? We're very close, I know. We want to mention our good friend Bill Lewis down in just out of Atlanta, Georgia. And friends, if he sells a siding special for houses down there, he's going to give us commission on it. So you can get a house that looks like this turning into a house that looks like this, and plus their packages are literally thousands of dollars cheaper than you would expect to pay. They also have a wonderful deal on vinyl windows. That phone number for Vinyl Tech, our good friend Bill Lewis, is area 770-529-2829. Again, area 770
529-2829. Also want to recognize our support group, and these folks help us stay on the air. We want to recognize our good friend Dennis Crocker. He's a firearms trainer in South Carolina. His number is area 864-587-8722. And our friends Dennis and Jeannie Ritchie with Custom Leather Work and Saddlery. They do all kinds of leather work in Denham Springs, Louisiana. That number is area 504-667-9225. In Camouflage Technology, they paint gun stocks, and you ought to give them a call, area 909-674-6488. Our good friends Clark Custom Guns, we'll have the 3-gun match I'll be taping out there this weekend. You'll see it on next week's program, hopefully. Their number is area 318-949-9884. And Flying Horse Galleries, the folks that have the great artwork on the internet. You can find them at www.flyinghorse.net. And, of course, Bruce Warren with BC Armory, area 616-729-5508. Bruce does all kinds of work on semi-automatic pistols and on revolvers. Friends, I tell you what, we invite you to join us on our gospel show. Remember, we're moving to Transponder 20. We'll be on the same satellite, but next weekend we're moving to Transponder 20 for our gospel show and for our shooting show. You can watch our gospel show on Sunday morning on, again, Telstar 4, Transponder 20 now, from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time. Please remember us on the American Freedom Network. Judge and I have our program on the American Freedom Network on SpaceNet 4, Channel 19, 5.82 audio from noon until 2 o'clock on Sunday. We really appreciate the Great American Freedom Network. And please remember that our shooting show is moving also next Sunday night, again, to Transponder 20. You're watching tonight on Transponder 6. We're moving to Transponder 20. Same satellite, just different location. Well, sir, any parting words you'd like to leave our audience with other than, along with, please help us, we need your help?
Well, we need your help, but we also need your help for people like Helen Chenoweth, or for Scarborough in 1st District in Georgia, or for Ron Paul.
Ron Paul, definitely Ron Paul.
Yes. A good man. He and Scarborough have both introduced resolutions to get us out of the UN.
Well, that's something that, again, Senator Smith agrees with us on. And friends, I tell you what, we're looking forward. We have a real shot here with Bob Smith running. It's possible he's going to run for president, and we can help make a difference for our conservative candidates that believe that we shouldn't have to have permission to buy a gun, Judge.
No, it's not that. You don't need permission. You don't need anything.
We ought to be able to buy a gun on the fact that we're United States citizens. Now, friends, we appreciate so much you being here with us today. There's so much we can do if we'll just work together. Please join us if you will. We've had a great time doing this week's program. We enjoy doing every one of them. We want to continue. We look forward to seeing you on the next shooting show and the other programs we do. Judge, appreciate you coming down today. We'll see you on the next show.